Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special review, impressions of a knife that was loaned to me by the channel by an awesome member, subscriber. He allowed me to take a look at this Andrew Demko by Cold Steel AD10. This is an Andrew Demko design, and it's made by Cold Steel, and it's a classic one. It's been around a long time. It's one of the first, or earlier Andrew Demko designs. Now you've noticed something different about this. Typically it has black G10 scales on this. This one has titanium scales, and that's because these are the original goat scales that are put on here. So let's talk a little bit about the name. This is the AD10, designer's Andrew Demko. The manufacturer is Cold Steel. It's made over in Taiwan, so it's a little bit better, right? This particular knife does have S35VN blade steel. It is definitely, I would call in the overbuilt category. It's been around forever, and I know people who love Cold Steel would love this knife, right? It does have the Tri-Ad lock, which is a lockback variant that Andrew Demko came up with. He's the same guy who developed the Scorpion lock and the Shark lock. He's really innovative in a lot of things. He also does the AD15, the AD20, the AD20 Slim, the AD20.5. There's a lot of different variants that he has out there. And the way the Tri-Ad lock works is you push down here on the bottom. Now I'm going to keep my finger right here because I want it to catch on the finger choil right there, or the sharpening choil. I don't want it to guillotine my hand because it's a big boy. So if you do that, let me show you how it drops. It's going to drop like that. I'm going to catch it right there like that so the blade's not on my hand. And then it closes like that. And it's definitely not a light knife. Now with these titanium scales, which are cut out, a lot of weight relief because there's steel bars inside there. You can't see it, but those steel bars aren't holes through them to weight relief, so they're pretty heavy as well. You've got a steel G10 back spacer back here. This is a steel bar for the lock bar. It's pretty heavy as well, right? And then you have a steel clip. I have not found any custom clips that they made for the AD10, but this is the typical standard kind of clip that they have. And you can reverse, put it on both sides, and it has a little washer that goes in there, so you can put it on either side for this thing, right? So this could be left-handed, right-handed carry. So right now it's right-hand tip-up only. It is a captive pivot. You can see that. I believe that's a T8, or is that a T10? So that's a T10. Let's see if it's a T10. Okay, it's a T10 on there. And then I think all the little screws over there are they're all T8s. And so let's see, look, T6s. So let's see. Yeah, T6 is all the way over here. Always important to get some good tools. I recommend Wea bits. They're really good. And a Wea, like a snub, a bit driver. This is like a compact bit driver. I don't know why the heck I can't think of it right now. My brain just went, so sorry. But this gives you good torque on there. It's a little stubby bit driver. Definitely recommend that when you're using that. It gives you best leverage to open and close this. I got sent this, I did an unboxing, and he sent it me because it wasn't quite fitting together. It does have these little pins right here. You've got to make sure they're the right way, and one is up front, one's behind. Once you do that, it fits together really, really well. And this fits together now really, really well. And now it's beautiful. And you can see that's phosphor bronze washer, so it's a very tight fit in there. Beautifully centered, all that. Love the shape on here, absolutely contoured. Now the G10, lanyard hole back there, definitely prioritized. It is a little sharp. I tell you, if this is my knife, I might file this down and soften that a little bit. But, it's not my knife. It's not my place. He allowed me to take it apart to kind of fix it for him. So anyways, just so you know real quick, if you ever lend me a knife, you'd like me to check out, maybe do an unboxing, review, impressions on, I don't hard use them. I don't take them apart unless you specifically ask me to, right? And in this case, he allowed me to take it apart to fix it. And I was happy to help out because he allowed me to check out the knife, and I got a chance to fix this knife. And so to me, I felt like that was pretty cool because this is one of these knives I would probably never buy. I don't buy overbuilt knives. I'm not into overbuilt knives. He's actually loaned me a couple of these, and he loves the big knives. And I know there's a lot of you guys who love the big knives, and I get it. I absolutely get it. And the two big overbuilt knives I've checked out, they're pretty darn good. They really are. I had a Migron Arma, and this right here, the Andrew Demko AD10, they're pretty stinking good, especially with this titanium scales on here. These original Goat scales. Hey, if you didn't know real quick, let me just let you know. If you go to Original Goat, I have a code, RNK as in Rob's Nerdy Knives. It's the acronym for that. If you use that, you get 15% off at Original Goat. And it helps the channel. I actually get a little affiliate. So it's kind of like there's a link in the description below if you're curious. I would appreciate you doing that, considering helping the channel. If you're going to go to Original Goat and buy something anyways, consider using the affiliate in the link. One, because it helps the channel, but two, you save 15%. I would love to see you do that. So consider that. Consider that for your future purposes. They've got some amazing scales. I put some on my AD20.5, looking at probably doing a AD15. I'm thinking about a Deca. I know they're probably going to be making some other ones. I think they just started making the MSI, the Microtech MSI. That looks stinking cool. I can't wait for that one. And they're discussing possibly doing the aluminum scales for the Stitch. I think that's stinking cool too. Anyways, but these scales on the AD10 are stinking phenomenal. Phenomenal. This really makes this like a premium knife. I mean, it's already big boy knife, hard use and all that stuff, but they do, the original Goat executes this so well. Nicely contoured, fits in your hand really well. I've got large hands, very meaty fingers, so this takes up the room here. I think extra large, maybe a double extra large. Might be a little tight up here, but you can absolutely choke up here with all this extra room. I can choke up with the finger choil right there. That works really well. You can pinch grip that if you need to do a hard cut. Definitely a nice drop point. It's got a nice swedge for a nice cut. This is definitely meant to be a hard use. We'll take a look at the measurements here in a second, see how thick this is and how heavy this is, but you know, it's not small, it's not light. And that Tri-Ad lock, you know, typically a lot of people feel like it's a two-handed lock, like you got to come up here and close it and do it like that. But you get those washers broken in and you know how to hold it and stuff, you can close it one-handed. It works really well as a one-handed knife. And the nice thing about this is because it's a Tri-Ad lock, I can do this left-handed as well, right? And then I can reverse, now reverse flicking, it is a heavy blade, so you gotta get a little wrist flick in there to get this going, right? So you just gotta remember, keep that in mind. So this is not a knife for the faint of heart. And for those who don't like to carry heavy things. So I will say that much. Titanium scales, these are aftermarket scales. Typically it's G10, black G10 lanyard loop, rounded nice away around. I will tell you the G10 scales, he included those. Very nice, very rounded, very comfortable, very contoured, work really, really great. Highly recommend it. Captive pivot. Thumb studs are really nice, beautifully volcanoed, excellent. Absolutely get to that. It's comfortable in the hand. It's comfortable to use. It's got some good leverage on there. There's nothing sharp back here. This doesn't dig into me. I mean, it does have a little edge there, but I didn't notice this ever. So, I mean, if it was my knife, like I said, I would have, when I took this little insert off, I would have just ever so slightly with a Dremel or with a file, just knocked the little sharp edge off there. And that would be, I think, make the world of difference. All right. Very cool knife. That's the materials. It's CPM S35 blade steel, which is a great steel. It's not a super premium, super deluxe steel, but it is a great steel. It's not just a okay steel. It's definitely in there. It's a steel I feel comfortable all day long with, especially the Taiwan market, the Taiwan knife manufacturer that they use. They do a great job of heat treat over there. Very similar to, and I'm not sure if it's exactly the same one, but they sure seem like some of the same people that maybe Spyderco uses, or at least similar processes, at least the quality wise. So that's kind of cool. All right, let's talk a little bit about anything else. Opening, closing. We talked about the Tri-Ad. It opens, closes pretty well for a big giant knife. You can open and close it if you know how to use the Tri-Ad lock, the lock back here. That's really nice. Beautiful knife, very functional. Let's do some measurements. All right, so let's see how heavy this guy is, because it is ridiculous. The Migron Arma was 8.6 ounces. This is a little bigger. You ready? Oh my gosh, 9.8 ounces. That is crazy. Let's zero that out. Let's do that again. Yeah, 9.8 ounces. Wow, that's just a big knife. I mean, seriously, 9.8 ounces is just huge. It is well more than a half a pound. I mean, you're getting close to the 3/5 of a 5/8 of a pound, right? So let's go ahead. Oh, wrong measuring thing. I was going to measure the length of the knife first. Let's do that before we jump into that. All right, so overall length of the knife, we're looking at a knife that is about just shy of 9 inches. It's a big boy. It is a 1/4 inch, maybe a little less, shy of 9. So I would say it's 8 7/8 of an inch, probably. The overall handle length from here to here is about, it's going to be just under 3 3/4 of an inch. If you were to split your fingers back here like that, I think an extra large, double extra large could fit. Remember, I have large hands, but big, wide, meaty fingers. So sometimes that's a grip of an extra large. Now, because my fingers are shorter, I don't get all the way around, and this is where you have longer fingers. You're going to really enjoy that, right? Now, if you do the choke-up position, you do get probably like 4.5 to 4 3/4, and if you go all the way to the end, you get 5 1/4 inches of grip, which is really nice. From the tip to the where the handle is right there, you're looking at about 3 3/4 of an inch. Overall cutting length from here to here is just under 3 3/4. Yeah, just under, maybe 3 5/8 or somewhere around there. So definitely some good cutting length for a big knife like that. All right, let's do the blade stock thickness. You know what? Let me take it out, and I'm going to do that. So make sure we're at 0. All right, so let's see where we're at for blade stock thickness. We are at 160 thousandths of an inch, 160 thousandths of an inch. So that's 0.16 inches. Now the Arma was like 1/4 of an inch. So this is definitely thinner, definitely more functional and more of a slicer compared to that. I mean, I'm kind of laughing here a little bit because, I mean, 0.16 inches is not quite a thin slicer, right? When I think of a thin slicer, you know, I think of something like a pyrite here. I mean, that's like, I think that's under 1/10 of an inch. Let me see. No, it's just right at 0.1 inches. So it's 103 thousandths of an inch. So it's 1/10 of an inch. So that's pretty thin. And there's knives that are even thinner than that. But pretty cool. Got some nice jimping functional. It's not super crazy aggressive. My Chavez had this. It was really sharp, uncomfortable. I had to file that down. This works really well on here. So that's nice. All right, let's look at the price. So the price of the knife as an AD10, I mean, you're looking around $200, so it puts it into the regular category, right? So a little more, a little less, that depends on where you look at it and you find it. It's a little under $200 most places, right? So that puts it into a regular knife. It's definitely over $100. But if you put these original goat scales on there, you know, it's another 180. That puts it definitely up into the $300 plus range. This makes it a high-end knife. I gotta tell you, those original goat scales make that knife really look good in that range. It really pimps it up quite a bit. And I like it. I like it. You know, some people are like, that's just an AD10 with G10. You shouldn't put, you know, some people like to make their knives look really well. Case in point, I have a pair of 3. I have several pair of 3s, and I have one that is ridiculously decked out. And I'll just show you. This one it's a Maximate steel, which if you know, that's a really fancy steel. That's really cool. Super sharp. I have these RG custom metalwork scales. These are really fancy. These are like a step up from here. These are custom made by a guy. And it also has a custom-made clip with it, so that's really fancy. I also have a custom-made lanyard tube. It fills it in, and this is made by titanium, and it's really nice. I didn't like the lanyard loop. Some people love it. I didn't. I want to plug it in, and that looked really nice. And then I have a CME right here. That's a nice little touch. I'm actually, OCD for EDC is going to send me a titanium version of that, so I'm going to put that on there. But that is a pimped-up knife that is way more than the original pair of 3, right? So that knife now becomes a super high-end knife because of all the accoutrements with it. Same thing with here. This is someone who just takes a really good functional knife and wants to dress it up, and it looks fantastic. I love it. To me, it's been an honor to check it out because I think it's really cool. So this definitely becomes a higher-end knife. Is it EDC? Yeah, this is probably one of the best EDC knives out there. It's the Tri-Ad lock. The Shark lock and the Tri-Ad lock's probably 2 of the strongest locks out there. There's some people say Tri-Ad lock wins every time. Other people will contend the Shark lock. There's arguments and things to be said, right? Now this Tri-Ad lock in a massively large bar, I mean, it's solid. I get it. And if you do the AD20 Shark lock, I mean, that's equivalent to that massively a big lock bar. But it's definitely EDC. Could you hard use? This is one of those knives, if I was in a situation, life or death, and I had to use this like a fixed blade to break wooden locks and stuff like that, I would feel pretty confident I wasn't going to destroy the knife or even damage the knife using it like that. Would I do it with this one? No, I wouldn't. I would get a fixed blade or an axe, right? But if you're in a situation where you had to, this would be one of those knives I feel like you could get away with it and you would still have a really well-functioning knife. It wouldn't destroy it or mess it up. So there you go. I feel like that makes it very EDC and hard use capable. You know, it's not an axe, but you could really get darn close to using it like an axe. It's that strong, that great. Is it a collection piece? Well, typically, yeah, it's a collection piece. Sometimes AD10s, people love them. Putting these original goat scales on here absolutely makes this a collection piece, in my opinion. It makes it look really nice. But that's the thing. Collection pieces for some people are collect it and then keep it in storage and never carry it. Other people, collection piece like me, is I carry them. Now, will I go out on a really fancy collection piece like this? Will I go cut crazy things with this one? No. If I carry this one, I'm going to have a little 5th pocket budget knife with me, right? I'm not going to be using this knife just exclusively like I would, a cheaper knife. I would definitely have a cheaper knife with me. That would be a little nicer. Now, I've opened boxes, envelopes, letters, and because this Maximum steel is ridiculously sharp and it retains its edge like crazy. I'm talking like ZDP 189. I'm talking it's even better than that. This is like you're getting up there to almost that carbide, that, you know, that stuff that you see places out. It's just ridiculous. It is phenomenal. 15V. I suspect it could probably blow that away. I don't know. Some people argue. Feel free to jump in the comments below if you disagree. I'm fine. But I'm just saying, that's pimped out big time, right? And that's what this is. It's pimped out big time. It's beautifully pimped out. It makes an AD10 that's like an old workhorse that just looks wonderful and everything, and it suddenly makes this just like a stallion. It makes it a really strong stallion, right? So that's what I feel like this is. Very cool, very neat. If you have an AD10 or you like the AD10 or you had one and you thought it just, you know, didn't look, you know, as nice and pimpish and whatever, check out Original Goat Scales. Makes it look really nice. And I really appreciate that wonderful subscriber for allowing me to check this out. I do have a link to his Instagram page down below. You can definitely go check him out there. You know, he loves knives, and so sometimes he has some knives for sale, so go check him out, you know. Definitely a really neat guy. Dealt with him, met him several times, just really cool. But yeah, again, I'm really, thank you for letting me check this out. Definitely recommend this if this is the type of knife you like. Very, very cool. So overall design, the handles. All right, so Original Goat Scales, I think if I was going to do it, I would do Original Goat Scales. The AD10 looks like it would work as well, but this would definitely be the way I would go. The jimping on here is very functional, works really, really well, both on the blade itself and then on the scales is really nice, very functional, beautiful. The clip here is okay. You know, it's not my favorite clip. I wish we could get a custom clip, but it does work. It does work in and out of the pocket for sure. And you want something very thin and tight, especially with a heavy knife like that for sure, right? Especially if you're going to be working, running, or doing anything like that. It has a lanyard loop, very big. Can absolutely use that. So if you need a lanyard loop, there you go. Big thing. The thumb studs work really well. Now it's a big knife, so you got to be firm when you deploy this thing. This is not a knife that you kind of, you know, it's got to have this magic detent and it's going to pop out. No, because if I do that, that's what it's going to do. This is a big boy, and it's fighting against the Tri-Ad lock and the way the Tri-Ad locks in the bar. So it's not going to have massive, strong detent and pop that, right? But it is really nice, right? Is there texturing? There is some texturing on here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's look at it real quick. There's some texturing in the milling process, which is really nice. You can see that on both sides, right? See that nice and centered blade right there? Really dead center. Open that up. Look at the blade right there. There's the AD10. There's the titanium scales right there. Look at the backside right here. And there's a blade as well. All right, so you saw the texturing is there. Pretty nice texturing, I think. Works really well. The clip works well, all that stuff. Opening, closing. It's a big knife, and I'm not expecting a big knife to necessarily open up like a small knife with a lighter blade, and with it's got a compression lock that has a detent ball on there, and so that little detent ball has a little pressure point that I'm trying to break, and once I break it, it just pops out. So that allows for that nice detent to pop out, right? It's not the same, it's different. And so I think it's pretty cool for opening, closing for the size of the knife, as big, as heavy as the blade is, as heavy as the knife is. Yeah, it's okay. It's Tri-Ad locked. I know some of you are gonna love it, but I get it. And I can make this work one-handed. I like that. Closing is nice. It's easily done one-handed. Is it the best in the world? No. But for the size and the history of this blade, it's great. Oh, so the fidget factor. What's my fidget factor? Okay, so I can open this with the thumb studs, right? And then I can close it. Can I get one finger in there? Let me see. Well, that's really tough. I don't know if I can do that. No. So really, reasonably, not to get injured, I'm going to say thumb studs really going to be only deployment. They work well for a big blade, so I'm going to give this I'm going to give it a 2. Because it's nice access to it. It's not hard to get to. You get easy access. You can certainly leverage every part of the knife. You can get good grip on there to open it, both left and right-handed. So that's really nice. I can reverse flick it as well. Here, let me show you. I can reverse flick it. And I can get good access here as well to it, and opening and closing it one-handed. So I like that. So I was going to give it a solid 2 at fidget factor. There's no other deployment really method. So 2 is good for single thumb studs, and that's it. Now, the fidgety goodness. Now, taking in the size and the history of this knife, I will give this a solid 90. It's going to get a 90. It's going to get an A minus. It's definitely a good score for this type of knife, I believe. The Tri-Ad lock is not the most fidgety lock in the world, but it is fidgety. It can be pretty enjoyable to fidget with. I will tell you, I'm very surprised by it. And it's a lot more fidgety than some of the other backlocks I've ever experienced. So I like that. So I'll give it a good 90. And I think part of it is the whole over aesthetics of everything. Now, I did take it apart. I did polish the washers. We cleaned it out, make sure it fit really nicely. And the action is beautiful. Put a little oil in there. And it does drop really nicely. I think better than I had when it first came in. And so to me, that's why I'm giving it a 90. It's just really nice for the size of the knife. So, and if you got big hands, it's going to be really, really friendly. So overall, do I recommend this? Well, as I said with the other overbuilt knife, it's not a knife I'm going to buy for my personal collections. I'm just not into giant knives, right? I'm not into overbuilt knives. I like them, and I really appreciate the opportunity to check this out. It's been an honor. It really has. But it's not something I'm going to go out and buy. But that being said, someday if I were to go out and buy it, would I consider this? Yeah, I would. Absolutely. This or the AD15 or something like that, right? Or AD20. His USA custom builds or whatever, I would absolutely probably consider that. Yeah, I would. So that being said, I will recommend, like if you like big overbuilt knives and you enjoy that, I will recommend this. I think this is recommendable. And now, granted, I've only had a couple, and both of them are pretty awesome, and kind of figured they would be because they're super popular, been around forever. People love them. I hear all the good things about them. So, you know, it's kind of set me up for a couple of really nice knives. Now, if I get a chance to start reviewing a bunch of giant overbuilt knives, I'm sure I'll have a few that I just won't like, okay? But, you know, these are the kind of knives that if I was going to do an overbuilt knife, this is the kind of knife I would do. And I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm definitely going to recommend this knife. If you like overbuilt knives, this is something I think you should consider. If I ever got into it, this is something that'd probably be in my collection I would carry, right? Right now, just kind of a little too big for me for what I'm going to carry, but still very, very cool. Hey, what are your thoughts? What do you think of this? Do you disagree with me? You think I'm a moron? You liked any points there? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. And also, if you have any questions for the channel, do comment down below. I do try to reply to everybody. I do enjoy that part of these videos that I get to talk to you guys. So it's part of the joy of doing this channel is just talking knives with everybody. All right, if you found this content fun, interesting, or worthwhile, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the channel really helps the channel grow, produce more content, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you to every one of you guys. Especially for those of you who watch the videos, who like the videos, who subscribe. You really, really, really help the channel. Very much appreciated. And if you've already done all of that, maybe consider hitting the notification button so you can be notified of future content like this video. And finally, to all my awesome channel members, a big, big, big shout out and thank you to every one of you guys. You guys who've been here since the very beginning, you are you've been very instrumental in this channel growing. Me being able to look at the various things, the giveaways. I mean, honestly, all the money I make from the channel goes toward the giveaways. I do enjoy that part, Monday night live streams and giveaways. And depending on when you watch this video, I'm real close to hitting 4K, and it's going to be another big 4K video coming up. Super exciting, so keep an eye out for that. Can't believe that's happening. Kind of blows me away. But if you like this content and you found it worthwhile, you know, in that sense, you know, and you think, hey, maybe I'd like to become a channel member, support the channel, check out the description down below. There's a link for that. I have 3 different tiers. You know, you can join whatever tier you'd like. But I do try to do a giveaway for all my channel members once a month. I had one in January. We'll have one up in February. I also do anybody who became a channel member or has been a channel member and has never had a sticker requested from me, email me and send me your name and address, and I will mail you a sticker. Just my way to say thank you. And if you get the top tier, you get a special exclusive sticker. There's also different content that you get depending on your tier and your level, early release, all sorts of stuff like that. So yeah, that's just my way to say thank you. I don't ever want anybody to feel like they have to, but it's just my way to say thank you if you choose to do so and really want to become a channel member and support the channel. I am honored and blown away and humbled and appreciative to every one of you guys. So thank you. Also, if you haven't also already checked me out over on Instagram, please do go check me out at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.